Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. One of the first games I reviewed on this channel was Dust: An Elysian Tale way back about 4 years ago. I was still new and getting used to things like capturing footage and doing narration and video editing. So I decided to go back and revisit the original now that some time has passed and do another review on it. After all this time has passed, has my feelings for Dust changed any? Well, let's find out. The story starts out with an assassin named Cassius slaughtering an entire village for hiding people of the Moonblood tribe. However, this strong warrior's life would be ended by the sacrifice of a young innocent boy. Skip about a year later and an amnesiac named Dust wakes up in a glade and is greeted by two other people. The Blade of Aura, a talking sword that seems to want Dust to take ownership of him, and Fidget, the Blade's carekeeper, who is stuck with Dust as long as Aura sticks around with Dust too. Together the three find themselves in the middle of a war between General Gaius and the Blue Blood race. Seeing Gaius wants to have the Moonbloods exterminated and will kill anyone who will help them. Dust takes up the cause to stop Gaius, seeing the damage his campaign has wrought. However, as he goes about his quest, he notices some cowering in fear as he wears the uniform of one of Gaius' assassins and has all of Cassius' moves to boot. However, he is too kind-hearted to be Cassius. His noble nature sparks more of that young man who brought Cassius down. So what is Dust? Is he villain or a victim, or is he something or someone else entirely new altogether? As hokey and cliche as a lot of the plot is, I do love the twist and reveal, as he turns out to be all of those things, and at the same time, really none of them. I would have loved it if they had gone to the reveal a little earlier in the game and gave some more time to flesh out a lot of the dual natures and identity crisis that actually exist within this main character. Maybe someday they will make a sequel and we'll actually get to explore all his many sides, but it's revealed too late, although it is one of my favorite plot twists, as hokey as it is, I know. That said, after playing it again, one of the main problems with the plot is still a main problem with the plot. The villain in this game is completely non-threatening. I get it, they try to make him a three-dimensional villain, that he isn't just some heartless killer, and oftentimes in real life the biggest mass murderers don't look melodramatically evil. I could say Mao Zedong, for example, who has more deaths and blood on his hands than Adolf Hitler, doesn't look all that evil. In fact, in a Civilization game I own, he looks kind of like a kooky grandfather. So, yeah, not trying to make him look too menacing, I guess I'm kind of okay with, but at the same time, they still have to give us a reason to fear this guy. All the NPCs talk about how frightening this guy is, but he gives us no reason to really be scared of. Instead, it leaves me doing this. Who's the world's cutest bad guy? Who's the real cutest villain? You are! Yes, you are! Wanna play with the rope? When it comes to the gameplay of Dust: An Elysian Tale, think of it like Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, as it follows that model of gameplay. We got a fairly non-linear route and almost Metroidvania-like gameplay, but the areas themselves are small and you get a map to pick where you go next and what special missions you want to do. This is actually kind of blessing. It leaves me to choose what area I want to go explore without burdening me with a giant and too confusing level structure. But like a lot of other Metroidvania games, you got to do the story sections and new areas in order to find new items to help you explore other areas. Whether it's things like sliding, double jump, or holding on to branches, you will have to find the items that let you do that in order to proceed in the game. But since this is Metroidvania, the combat and powering up systems is more like an action JRPG, and the combat has got plenty of that. Dust can do simple combos by pressing X. He can also have Fidget do a weak magic attack by pressing Y. And then he can do this dust storm that lets him fly over places, or even power up Fidget's magic attacks to ungodly heights of power. You don't want to mess with him when he gets Fidget's lightning attacks, which just really tears the enemy apart. Yes, the gameplay is button mashing, and yeah, it's kind of mindless, but I would be lying if I didn't say watching Dust hack apart enemies or fry them with Fidget's magic isn't a whole lot of fun. They do try to add in a bit of strategy by penalizing you for abusing the Dust Storm technique. Use it too much without any cooldown time and Dust can be knocked on his fanny. But you know what? If you know what you're doing, it rarely happens. Look how long it takes for that to happen here. As far as the RPG aspects, it does a decent job in the customization as well. Dust can level up, and when that happens, you get to customize his attributes and what kind of character you want to build. That said, personally, kind of like a well-balanced character, so I kind of kept all his gems levels the same. Still, it's a nice thought, though. Also, there's a smith shop and items that can be created by finding items based off of slain bad guys. So, what is the real downside to the gameplay? Well, the most annoying thing for me is that save points only refill half of your life on normal difficulty. Meaning to get to full power, you gotta use consumable items. Expect to spend a lot of money just on things to keep Dust healthy and alive, and yes, it's annoying. Now, towards the end of the game, you do get equipables that can regenerate Dust health that helps take the edge off of the amount of food you have to buy, but just the sheer amount of food I had to buy for him was a pain. I'd rather be spending money on armor or other items and not just food. Also, the final area of the game can be a bit of a pain and an absolute slog. I get it, it's the final area, but the difficulty does take a huge spike upwards. Not as bad as any of the Shantae series, and it can be managed by some grinding and some powerful items at the smith, but it's still a pain in the ass to do, especially when the rest of the game can be such a complete cakewalk. I am an absolute sucker for hand-drawn animation and colorful 2D graphics, and Dust has this in spades. The animation quality of the sprites is just terrific. The backgrounds are really great and lush. Even in battle, the animation finds a way to stay smooth. Dust has to be one of the best looking 2D games I've ever played through. Music-wise, the game is okay. The music isn't as memorable as the lush animation, but it's passable. The voice acting is pretty decent, and the voices match the aesthetics of the graphics.
Children. Your children? You're talking about those monsters back there? Who are you? So...
After all this time, has my enjoyment of Dust decreased? No, not really. I still say it's a solid A+ indie title that everyone should try, especially if you're a fan of Metroidvania games. And if you are, it's definitely worth $15. But even if you're not a huge fan, this one might still be worth putting on your Steam wishlist if you wish to try it out. The game goes on sale oftentimes no more than $3, and it's definitely worth trying for it at that price. So put this one on your Steam wishlist regardless if you're a fan of action games. You'll get a kick out of it. This is Tommy the Game Master, thanking you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And please subscribe. I'd love to have you as a part of my community. I'll see you guys later.